I'm Big Dave, the parks professor. For 26 years, I've been taking hiking trips all over the United States to enjoy and share with you the glory of God's creation in its natural state. In this video, I want to share my 4 favorite hikes from my hiking trip to central and eastern Oklahoma in April 2023. These hikes are presented in no particular order, and there's no real selection criteria other than I really enjoyed the hike. For my first favorite hike, we have the loop south of the park office at Lake Murray State Park in southern Oklahoma. I started at the park office and walked the paved trail south to the park's fishing area on an arm of Lake Murray. Dating to the 1930s, this park is one of Oklahoma's original state parks. If you look to the right as you cross the trail bridge over the lake inlet, you can see a park road bridge built in the 1930s by the Civilian Conservation Corps. After crossing the bridge, I angled left to hike the loop clockwise. The loop features a lot of rocky areas and also a lot of good lake views. At 2 miles into the hike, you reach my favorite lake view, a rocky inlet where the water has an amazing blue tint that contrasts with the gray rocks and green trees. When you reach the park road, turn right to walk a few hundred feet along the road, then turn right again to re-enter the woods, close the loop, and complete the hike. There are a lot of interesting things to see on this hike, and it is one of my favorite hikes between Dallas-Fort Worth and Oklahoma City. For my next favorite hike, we find the Ghost Coon Dripping Springs Loop at Natural Falls State Park in northeast Oklahoma. I started by walking down through the Formal Garden. This park is centered around its namesake waterfall, and the ADA accessible waterfall overlook is just beyond the Formal Garden. But I chose to make more of a hike of it by turning left to cross the creek and then turning right to pick up the Ghost Coon Trail. This trail gets its name from a fictional character in the movie Where the Red Fern Grows, which was based in this area. The Ghost Coon Trail takes you through forest and prairie before ending at the park's yurt area. Turn left to walk down to the park's small lake, then turn right to begin hiking upstream on the Dripping Springs Trail. Some steep and rocky areas bring you to the base of Natural Falls, which is tied for Oklahoma's tallest waterfall. This waterfall features a bunch of small spouts when the water tables are high, and the rocky amphitheater makes for a stark setting. Climb the concrete steps to return to the Formal Garden and complete the hike. Natural Falls is Oklahoma's newest state park. While it has somewhat of a developed feel, the fantastic scenery makes this an excellent hike. My next favorite hike from this trip is the Travertine Creek Double Loop at Chickasaw National Recreation Area in southern Oklahoma. This hike is a barbell-shaped double loop that starts at the Nature Center in the middle of the barbell. I did the western loop first, which meant hiking downstream along Travertine Creek past Pavilion Spring. Pavilion Spring is a mineral spring, and its high chlorine content makes its water smell like Clorox. The western loop goes around the park's bison pasture, but I didn't see any bison when I came here. Next, I hiked back east along Travertine Creek to begin the eastern loop of the barbell. This loop took me past Little Niagara, a pair of small waterfalls made more scenic by the clear waters of the spring-fed creek. The rest of the eastern loop takes you past the springs that feed this creek, which include rocky Antelope Springs and algae-filled Buffalo Springs. This is a great hike if you like water features as much as I do, and I was surprised to find a hike like this one on the plains of southern Oklahoma. My 4th favorite hike on this trip was the Sand Creek Lookout Lake Loop at Osage Hills State Park in northeast Oklahoma. I started at the main picnic area and first headed down to Sand Creek. Sand Creek normally has some nice rock ledges that make scenic waterfalls, but the creek was nearly dry when I came here during a drought. Next, I hiked up past the group lodge and through the main campground to reach where the Civilian Conservation Corps camped in the 1930s. A water tower, some building foundations, and a stone amphitheater are all that remain of their camp. Next, follow the orange blazes as they descend through a rocky area that overlooks Lookout Lake. The lake views are nice here, but you never reach the lake shore. Keep following the orange blazes until you reach the cabin trail, then hike the cabin trail back to the picnic area to complete the loop. There's a wide variety of scenery on this hike, and I enjoy both the history and the water scenery this park has to offer. There was one other hike on this trip I really liked, but it isn't in Oklahoma, and therefore I didn't want to pick it as one of my 4 favorites. It is the Waterfalls Trail at Cloudland Canyon State Park in northwest Georgia. I started at the Nature Center, which backs to this park's famous overlook of Cloudland Canyon. I hiked a short distance up the canyon rim, and then I began descending the 600 metal grate steps that lead into the canyon. There are 2 waterfalls in this canyon. I went to the very bottom of the canyon and viewed Hemlock Falls first. Hemlock Falls is the taller of the 2 waterfalls. It is a ledge-type waterfall with a stark amphitheater with vertical rock walls and a plunge pool partially obscured by boulders. Next, I climbed half of the steps to reach the other waterfall, Cherokee Falls. I actually like this waterfall more than Hemlock Falls due to its gracefully curving rock walls and large plunge pool. Climbing the rest of the steps returns you to the rim and completes the hike. I did this hike on my way home as the final hike on this hiking trip, and it might be my favorite hike from this trip. Well, there you have it. My 4 favorite hikes plus a bonus from my April 2023 hiking trip to eastern and central Oklahoma. You can view videos for these 5 hikes and all 18 hikes from that trip using the trip number 18 playlist on this channel. Until next time, I am Big Dave, the Parks Professor for Parking Full Time. Have a great afternoon, take care, and Lord bless.